So, you want to build a golden era physique? You want to talk ratios, proportions, discipline? Well, you've come to watch the right video. As you can see, it works pretty decently well following this method. So, without further ado, let's get right into it after this intro. To build a golden era classic physique, don't mind me, I'm just having a coffee while I make this. What you have to remember is these golden era physiques, they didn't have a lot of the machines we do nowadays. They used a lot of free weights. And on top of that, even the drugs they used were vastly different to what you see pro bodybuilders use today. One big standout, which I'm going to cover when we go into the training, is look at the shoulders, the deltoids on these classic golden era physiques. They would appear to be lagging by today's standards. They appeared small, especially the rear deltoid. It would probably appear small to most of today's standards. But what this would allow back then was they'd have the traps, the delts, and then the arms. It'd be like this trifecta. Nowadays, you've got the traps, and then the shoulders are so blocky, the shoulders overpower the entire physique. And that's just the look, I guess, that's popular now. That's the look that goes, but it doesn't mean it's the most aesthetic. It's not a really flowing physique. Because back in the golden era, it was about creating artwork. It was making a physique that would flow, that you could transition and pose with really nicely and really smoothly. And the current classic physique competitors nowadays have tried to replicate this to an extent, but their overdeveloped shoulders and inner thighs and things like that do take away from that real classic aesthetic flowy physique. Now, another thing I want to point out is look at the thighs on a classic physique guy on a traditional golden era versus a modern day bodybuilder. Look at the inner thighs, the adductors. Now look at that and see how much more developed they are nowadays and sort of how it portrays the tree trunk like legs. They look massive, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're aesthetic and they're flowy. Because if we look at these old golden era physiques, yeah, they had massive quads, but they also had massive calves. Their calves were almost the same ratio as their biceps. Nowadays, we look at calves up on stage and there's not much effort put into calves because they're probably not judged. I don't know, you can fix me up on that, but I'm guessing they don't judge calves. Now also, look, we're looking at the extremities of the bodies now. Look at the forearms of today's standards compared to the forearms of classic guys. Massively, massively different. The old school forearms were huge. It's like Popeye forearms compared to nowadays. They're like such skinny little forearms when you got massive arms. Now we're going to break down how these ratios work and why they make you look a certain way. So understand that if you've got massive shoulders, it's going to make your biceps appear smaller or your arms appear smaller because your shoulders are so overpowering. When you have a smaller shoulder, your arms are going to look bigger. It's just vice versa. If you have a bigger back, your waist is going to look smaller. If you have a thick, wide waist, it's going to make your back look more narrow. That's just how ratios work. So we're trying to attain basically the golden ratio, the perfect symmetry of the body. And to accentuate these parts of the body, like the biceps, the forearms, the calves, the very big, thick, broad chest. These are all things that were renowned for the classic golden era. So let's think of a training split now. So I base a lot of my things around Mike Mensa's teaching. If you're not familiar with Mike Mensa, look him up. Incredible knowledge, incredible amount of knowledge. Now, think of your workouts like this, because we're going to go into the workout side of things now. How to actually train like a golden era bodybuilder or attain a golden era physique via training a certain way. Now, the splits I've done to achieve this is upper body day, lower body day, then I'll take a rest, upper body day, lower body day, then I'll take 2 days rest. So believe it or not, most people, like if you're an intermediate lifter now, you're probably training like 5-6 days a week. And it's too much. It is too much volume. More than likely, it's too much volume. I could almost guarantee that within a 20 to 30 minute workout, I can hit the muscle harder and more intense and get more growth out of it than what you could do in an hour and a half long workout. When you hit something to complete failure with intention to fail, you only need sort of 20 to 30 minutes on that muscle. When you're hitting chest, I need 2 exercises to hit it, complete failure. I speak to some people and they hit a chest day, they're like, I do chest and triceps on Monday. And they'll do like 4 chest exercises, 4 tricep exercises. It's way too much, guys. It is way too much junk volume. The volume is not going to add the mass. What's going to add the mass is the intensity. Your muscle needs mechanical tension to grow. It needs an overload of mechanical tension. It's like going to the gym, training your muscle is not an endurance, it's not an endurance exercise. It's like a sprint. It's a very sharp, short exercise that puts the muscle to failure, puts micro tears in it, and then you go home, rest, recover, eat, and then it grows back stronger. Do this thousands and thousands of times again and watch how big your muscles will get. You're not trying to train your muscles for endurance here. This is where most people go wrong in the gym. They're training 6-7 days a week like I was doing that, and it seems like my results, one, came so slow, and two, I would put a shirt on or a t-shirt on and I didn't even look like I lifted. Like there was not much there backing that result until I prioritized rest and nutrition more and actually training to a complete failure by shortening my workouts and increasing intensity. Now, this is exactly how we do that. For example, chest, because we know chest, look at Arnie's chest, look at the golden era chest, it's absolutely massive. Look at Mike Mentz's chest. How do they do this? This is done by extremely overloading the muscle. Mechanical tension. You're not going to sit there and do 20 sets of bench press. You can do 3 sets of bench press, 3 sets of flies to complete failure. That's your chest day done. It should take you 20-30 minutes for your chest. But keep in mind, I do a full upper body. I'm just breaking chest down for an example. So I'll do 3 sets of bench, every set to a complete failure. I want to get maximum 6 to 8 reps. If I'm doing more than 8 reps, weight is too light. I need to add more weight to increase more mechanical tension, to increase the more work done by the muscle, to increase more micro tears in the muscle, which will then result in more muscle repair, more muscle growth, more muscle fibers being recruited. I know this sounds like a lot of sciencey mumbo jumbo, but just understand that the more tension you put the muscle under, the more the muscle has to respond to grow. You're giving it a reason to grow. This is why I train like this. I go very short, intense workouts. So I'll hit 3 sets of bench press to complete for every set till failure. I'll do 1 warm-up set, which I don't count, and 3 sets till failure. Same with my flies, chest flies. I'll do 3 sets to complete failure. Next, I'll do back. I'll do body weight pull-ups. If you can do easily body weight pull-ups and get like 15, 20 reps, put a belt on, put a weighted belt on, and start attaching weights onto yourself. So you can only sort of get 6 to 10 reps on pull-ups. And you want to do, again, 3 sets of that. You want to be failing at like sort of 8, 9, 10, on the 8th, 9th, or 10th rep, you want to be complete failure. That's going to make sure that you're getting enough mechanical tension to force the back to grow. This is probably the best exercise for your back, pull-ups. Wide grip too, if you can. If your shoulders allow it, you have the mobility, wide grip pull-ups. Second thing for your back here is either, bent over rows, pen lay rows, or seated rows, a type of row. Again, we're working 6 to 8 reps, very heavy, only 3 sets. That's it, that's your back done. If you hit it right, every set to a complete failure, there's no point doing 20 sets, it's not going to do anymore. The muscle's broken down there. How much more can you break the muscle down? You've already overloaded the muscle. You've showed it that it needs to grow in demand with the weight. Now that's it. You let it grow, you let it rest, recover, and you do it again and again. And if you do this twice a week, you hit your upper body twice and your lower body twice a week, the frequency of which you're hitting your body, you're going to condense like 2 years of training into 1 year because of the frequency, how often you're actually hitting the muscle. Now, again, tying this back into a golden ratio physique. You've got to think, what did these guys do? They had massive arms. So do not neglect your arms, your biceps and triceps. More importantly, your triceps, because your triceps make up around 60-70% of your arm, the mass on your arm, which you probably can't see in this video. But they make up around 60-70% of your arm. So again, you're going to do 2 exercises for triceps to complete failure. 3 sets of each. I do push downs, and then I might do like skull crushers. And then I'll do 1 exercise for biceps. I'll do 3 or 4 sets of 1 exercise for biceps. Again, every set to complete failure. Same rep range, 6 to 8 or 6 to 10 reps. Now, shoulders, 1 exercise. 1 exercise is all you need because you've already smashed your shoulders when you're doing bench press. You've already smashed your rear delts when you're doing rows. Your shoulders have already been hit. Now, people who throw in an extra shoulder day, it's too much. You're going to get the capped off, which some people love the look of the massive squared off capped off delts, but if you're trying to get a classic physique, that is enough work for your shoulders. The only other thing I would throw in at the end of your upper body day is a standing military press, standing shoulder press, that's it. Again, 3 sets, 6 to 8 reps till failure, shoulders done. Leg day, again. Leg day, either leg extension, I always start with leg extension. I like to pre-exhaust the quads. So we look back, quads were very dominant in the golden era physiques. Very dominant quads. Not so much the adductors, the inner thighs weren't as dominant. They had a really flowy leg. So emphasizing the quads, starting off with quad extensions, you're going to work again 3 sets to complete failure, Then I'll go into a hack squat to further emphasize the quads because they've been pre-exhausted with quad extensions. Now hack squats, then stiff-legged deadlifts, and then hamstring curls. That's leg day done. 4 exercises, that is all you need. Now, if you're hard on time, if you're working big hours, you've got a family, you've got kids, you don't have time to be in the gym 4 days a week, that's fine. You can still get massive, massive results with just 2 days a week in the gym if you follow this. And if you space it out a bit better, just say you can only train 2 days. I would train, for example, we start the week on Monday, I would train upper body, then I'd wait 2 days, and then on Thursday, I would train lower body. Then Monday, upper body, Thursday, lower body. You can do that, that is fine. You're still gonna get amazing results. But in saying that, if you do have the time to go 4 days a week, I would go Monday, upper body, Tuesday, lower body, Wednesday, rest, Thursday, upper body, Friday, lower body, Saturday and Sunday, rest. Monday, start it again. That's gonna be the ultimate split. Now, tying it back onto legs, we look at they didn't have massively overpowered legs. We can look at Arnie's legs, we can look at Mike Mentz's, yes, they were big, yes, they were defined, but they weren't massively overpowered. And also, another thing to mention here is body fat. We look at modern bodybuilders and their body fat, they get so lean, they get so dry when they go up on stage. And it looks cool to an extent, but it doesn't look classic. It is not a classic look. So if you're after that classic look, you sort of want to sit around 9 to 12% body fat year round. I sit myself around sort of 10%, and I don't really fluctuate much from there. And people will say you need to go on a bulk, you need to go on a cut. I don't think that at all. I've always had my abs, I've always maintained abs, and I've continued to build and stack on lean muscle on top of that. By training like this, you don't, like people say you need to eat in a massive calorie surplus to grow muscle. We'll explain this. I've never eaten in a massive calorie surplus. I've always had abs, and I've gotten progressively stronger by training this way. Because 1, I'm not overtraining. 2, I'm getting really good rest. And the quality of my nutrition is top tier. That's all you need. It is very basic, but people love to overcomplicate this because when people break down the overcomplication, it gets views. It's like, I found a secret method to this, I found a secret method to that. There's no secret methods, guys. It's simple. I've broken it down for you. Upper body, lower body, rest, upper body, lower body. You don't need to eat massive calories. You don't need to eat under eat. Just eat at the level you're comfortable at. I'd eat at a maintenance level, making sure you're getting good quality protein from meat, fish, chicken, eggs. That's it. It's very simple. It is very simple. Maintain your body fat around 10%. If you're over body fat, just say if you're 15, 20%, and you want to bring it down to 10%, the best way to do this is low intensity, steady state cardio. So Stairmaster. I love Stairmaster or incline treadmill. Now, I'm not going to go into fat loss in this video. That's a whole other video in itself, which I can target. But touching on that, now you know the basics of how to obtain this physique and how to train for it. Think of the mindset as well. These golden era physiques, they went to the gym, they had fun with it. They look at these guys. Yes, they trained hard, they trained to complete failure. They had grueling workouts, but at the same time, they had fun with it. This has to be fun in your life. You have to get some enjoyment out of it, because if you fight to do this, eventually you're going to burn out. This is going to wear off. You have to find a way to make it fun. And that's why I go out. I change my workouts. I change my gyms every so often. I'll go work out outdoors. I'll go to a beach. I'll go catch up with some friends and train with them. Just keep things social as well. It doesn't just have to be a strict, it doesn't have to be a strict training. That's it. No talking, nothing. I go to the gym. I catch up with people while I'm there. It's got to be it's got to incorporate into your life. Your life doesn't have to fit the gym. The gym has to fit your life. And then also, I want you to understand that these golden era physiques, a lot of them had great tans. They spent so much time outdoors. They did a lot of cardio, but the type of cardio was, again, low intensity, steady state. We see these guys walking, we see these guys riding a bicycle, just slow paces, having fun, out in the sun all the time. They're out by the beach, they're living the lifestyle. That's what keeps them happy. They're having low stress levels, low cortisol. They look good, they're smiling, they're just loving the lifestyle. That's what it's about. This modern day culture of bodybuilding has gotten so ingrained in people's heads that, grind, pain, discomfort. Yeah, I guess that's a part of it, but you can enjoy it too. You can love the process and still get crazy results. It doesn't have to feel like a grind. It doesn't have to feel like a drag. I've never ever felt like I'm grinding this away. I genuinely love to train because how I feel after it. You're in the gym, you're training, you get a mad pump, you see veins coming down your biceps, you see people looking at you, just a sick feeling. It's a nuts feeling. And then you put on a shirt, you go to work in your office and you look jacked, like the shirt is tight, your arms are about to rip the sleeves open. You can see like your chest, your clavicle at the top of the shirt. You just look good, you feel good, your energy is good. It's just a life worth living. It's a lifestyle. That's what you have to understand. The golden era physiques, it's not just gym, it is an entire lifestyle. The way they lived, the way they did things, even the music they listened to. Like, you got to say the 80s, the 70s music was mad. Like, chuck on some of that music when you're training next time and you'll see. But that's the basics of how to build a golden era physique. Stay lean, stay tanned, target those muscle groups. Like I said, don't overtrain your shoulders, don't overtrain your inner thighs. Look at the biceps, look at the forearm ratios, look at the calves. These are all areas that if you see your forearms lacking, throw an extra forearm exercise in when you do upper body day. If you see your calves are lacking, throw extra calf exercises in. Even if it takes away from your hamstrings, that's fine. Build your calves up. Even if it takes away from your triceps when you're doing your upper body day, that's fine. Throw some more forearms in. You want to balance the physique. You want it to flow. And me seeing this video, I can't look at your physique. I can't tell you, okay, you need to work on your forearms, your upper back, your traps. They're the areas that are lacking. Everyone's going to have different areas and different genetics to see what areas are lacking and what aren't. But just from a general consensus, I'll tell you that, I'll read you out some ratios that I've written down here. This is what I've picked up on. So arms should be bigger than your delts. Your chest and back should be bigger than your shoulders again. Like, your chest and back in ratio should be more powerful than your shoulders. Your chest is more important than your back. In terms, your back is still important, but chest in the golden era was more important. Forearms and arms should be equally developed. So you see guys now, like, I'm not even the best example of this, but like traditional guys, they had massive biceps, big peaks, and thick forearms. Nowadays, you look on stage, bodybuilders have these skinny forearms. Upper body is slightly bigger than lower body. Not massively out of proportion, but the upper body was always prioritized over the lower body. And quads are more developed than your adductors inside. And remember that your calves, quads, and biceps should all be in equally ratio developed. That's going to keep the flowing, the symmetry, the golden shape happening. Tie all that in and you'll have an amazing physique and you'll have fun doing it too. Find some guys that you like to train with, have a common goal, go there, rip it, chuck some tunes on, eat good after you finish the gym, go out for lunch, go out for dinner, book some stuff in, make it work with your lifestyle. Like I said, don't make it consume your life. It should be fun, and it will be. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.